Squid Game Season 2's funniest Thanos scene is secretly heartbreaking. The second season of Netflix's hit drama Squid Game introduces a whole series of new characters, alongside some returning faces, to expand this fictional universe in fresh and interesting ways. One of the standouts of Squid Game Season 2's cast is Choi Seung-hyun, who plays the character of Thanos. This amateur rapper is one of the main antagonists of the season, taking a wholly selfish approach to the games and never being afraid to throw other contestants under the bus in order to increase the prize fund. One of Squid Game's most obvious themes, ever since the first season, has been the exploration of humanity's innate selfishness and greed. It's a story about how far people will go to become rich and avoid their problems, which is exactly what Thanos exemplifies in Season 2. He knows that only one contestant will be able to take the entire prize fund home, and he'll do anything to ensure that it's him. Thanos' fate at the end of Squid Game Season 2 marks a huge turning point for the show, giving many of his funniest scenes a much more tragic meaning. Thanos kicking Jeong-soo was Squid Game Season 2's funniest scene. Their interaction during the third challenge is very funny. Thanos is used as comic relief throughout much of Squid Game's sophomore season, as his complete disregard for the other players allows for some darkly funny moments. One of these moments happens during Mingle, the third challenge of the competition in which players must establish a group of a certain number of people before entering the doors to safety. During the chaos of the challenge, Thanos kicks his teammate Jeong-soo, Forrest Kyoshi, to the ground in order to take his place in the group. Whilst the scene is initially played for laughs, it takes a much darker turn when Jeong-soo is killed by the guards and Thanos has no idea what's happened. This is because he's under the influence of a powerful drug for the entirety of the challenge and seemingly has no control or recollection of his actions. This makes Jeong-soo's death even more tragic because it wasn't necessary. Thanos clearly regrets what he's done, and it causes the audience to consider what could have happened if his mind had been clearer. Thanos genuinely had no idea about what he had done to Jeong-soo. Thanos only realized after the fact. Mingle is one of the most cutthroat challenges in Squid Game, and the guards show no mercy to the contestants who don't manage to join an appropriate group. However, it's not until Thanos hears the gunshots that he realizes what he's done. There's a very brief moment during which his character peeks through the door at the chaos outside and understands the severity of the situation. It's a moment of humanity and regret that audiences don't see much of in Thanos, furthering the idea that most of his villainous actions were a result of the drugs. He's so desperate to win the game and acquire the most money that he's intentionally fogging his mind, aware that it's the only way he'll be able to carry out the brutality that's necessary to reach the finals. The realization that Thanos' actions don't come from total hatred or selfishness, but rather the survival instincts of a man on hallucinogenics, makes his character arc much darker. He's so desperate to win the game and acquire the most money that he's intentionally fogging his mind, aware that it's the only way he'll be able to carry out the brutality that's necessary to reach the finals. Yet still, this doesn't work for him. Thanos is eventually killed as a result of all the enemies he's made along the way, proving that everything was futile in the end. T.O.P. chose to play Thanos differently after the character started using the drugs. The changes in Thanos' personality were deliberate. In an interview with the Korea Times, Thanos actor, primarily known by his stage name T.O.P., revealed that he wanted to make the character's relationship with drugs an integral factor in his performance. "I researched the effects of such substances while developing the character," he said, "and I tried to act differently in scenes where Thanos had not yet taken the drug versus those where he had." This clearly worked for the actor, as his performance ended up being a perfect balancing act of funny and tragic, which is crucial for understanding Thanos' mental state. These comments also confirm that Thanos' mind was permanently altered by the drugs he was taking. The substances were essentially a coping method that he used to turn himself into a more reckless and selfish person, expecting that this would help him reach the finals. But in reality, it was this drug-induced foolhardiness that turned him into an enemy of the other players and eventually caused his death in Squid Game.